Hey guys, so tonight I'll be using our Day to Night palette. It is limited edition. Right now I'm going in with P2 Picture Perfect Foundation, and I'll be using that as my eyeshadow base. I am applying that with my concealer brush and just patting it on in a feather-like motion and sweeping it across. Next, I'm going in with my Picture Perfect powder in the shade Cream Puff. I'm using my fluff brush to lightly apply it to the lid. Then we're going to use Blackout Gel Liner with the gel liner brush. It's not broken, it's supposed to be crooked like that. It makes for an easier application. And I'm going to put that along my waterline as well as underneath my top lash line. And it's going to help to create a fuller, lusher lash line, and it looks really pretty for an evening look. I'll then be going straight into our Day to Night palette, and I'm working with the fluff brush. Now I do have a larger space above my crease, so you could use the crease brush if you don't have so much space. The shade that I'm using is Macchiato, and that is from the daytime lineup, but we're going to be using that in the crease right now, just sweeping it back and forth really soft. It almost blends it for you, it's such a soft brush. For the smoky eye look, I'm actually using a shade called Smokin' Hot, and I'm going to pat that across my lid, right in the center, but then also bringing it a little to the inner corner and the outer corner. To give some real definition to the eye, I'm using a shade called Coffee Bean, and that is in the evening lineup. It's the center color, and I'm just patting that on with our large shadow brush. I'll be using our crease brush, and I've actually cleaned it off. If you see me going down below, I'm wiping it onto a towel, and I just blended there. Then I'll be going back with my Blackout Gel Liner, sweeping it across my lash line, keeping it pretty thin and trying to stay as close to the lash line as possible. That little crick in the brush, as you see, makes it a lot easier. Then I'm going in with my liner brow brush and Raven eyeshadow, also available in the Day to Night palette and the evening lineup. And I'm just kind of doing little dashes across the lash line, and that helps to give that gel liner a smoky effect. I'm also going to use that same brush and that same shadow underneath the lower lash line to give a little more definition and make the eye pop. And again, I'm just sweeping that kind of like a little dash instead of trying to draw a big line. Okay, here comes the drama. So I'm using our smudge brush to really kind of smoke out underneath the lower lash line with our shade Sloan, and that is again in the evening lineup. You can see it really makes everything come together in a really fun way. Then I'm going in with Tiara eyeshadow underneath my brow, and I'm also going to pop a little bit of it right by my tear duct, just a little highlight. This is with a clean crease brush. I'm going in and blending. So at this point, I felt like I wanted a little bit more definition in my outer corners, so I'm going in with Raven and Coffee Bean and my crease brush and just kind of adding a little bit more. We cleaned up underneath, and then comes the foundation. So my sheer foundation brush, which is my absolute favorite brush, I'm taking Y5 Picture Perfect Foundation, and as you can see, I use very little, just kind of splotch it all around the face. Then I want to go in and just really kind of work it into the skin. It is a coconut oil based foundation, so it's actually really good for your skin. To give that perfect airbrush look, I'm kind of working it into little circles, being pretty firm with the application. You want to go so firm that you see the little black bristles touching the skin, and I just work it in little circles all throughout the face. And really remember, with our foundation, a tiny bit goes a very long way. Next, I'm going to use my flat foundation brush to just go in and kind of spot check any areas that need a little bit more coverage. Sometimes I'll have like spider veins around the corners of my nose. The tip of my nose can get a little bit red. And then I do have some acne scars around my chin area. So I usually go back and give just a little more coverage with our flat foundation brush. Next, I'm using our P2 Picture Perfect foundation, and I'm using that as my highlighter slash concealer. Now this is the same shade that I used as my eyeshadow base earlier. And as you can see, I'm just kind of patting it underneath the eyes. This is a very glamorous look, so this is not something I would do every day. And I'm also going down the center of the nose, creating a little bit fuller lips, and then giving a little bit of a highlight to the chin. Next, I'm going with my clean foundation brush. There's nothing on it, and when you see me kind of patting down below the screen, I'm wiping it off onto a paper towel. You could also use a beauty blender. At this point, we do offer the Perfect Blender sponge if you are a sponge girl. I myself prefer my brushes, so I do like blending with my brushes. I'm going in and blending out the chin area now. As you can see, that one was a little bit heavy, so I did kind of wipe a lot off. Blending the lip area. And then when I do the nose, I do it with a lot of precision. So as you can see, I kind of slowed down a little bit, going in with just the tip of the brush. I always do the top and the tip of the nose, and then I get both sides, but I never go directly over the top. Kind of will widen out if I do that. This one is our Picture Perfect foundation in the shade Y10, and I'm using my concealer brush, and I'm going to use this to contour. So I'm starting like way back by the ear, just bringing it forward, right underneath my cheekbone. And I kind of do 2 applications just to get it dark enough. I also will work it into the hairline. Now if someone has like a 4-head or a 5-head, I would do this. If someone has a 3-head, I definitely don't do the forehead area because then it would kind of make the face look squatty. But I do contour everybody along the jawline and the chin. I just feel like it makes the face stand out a little more. I'm also giving a little shadow underneath my bottom lip. That'll help the lips to appear a little bit fuller. And then I like the look of a little button nose, and so I always go like right underneath the tip of my nose. I'll bring a little line across the top to create that button look, and then also down the sides to just bring the nose in and help it to appear a little bit thinner. Now everybody's nose shape is different, so how I contour mine may not be how you would want to contour yours. If your nose is long, I wouldn't do, along the sides like that because it's going to make it look even longer. If your nose does have a large like ball on the end of it, I wouldn't create the ball even more. So everybody's a little bit different. Here I had to speed it up a little bit because this was kind of a long process, but I'm using my foundation brush. It's my flat foundation brush, and I'm just going in and blending. Again, you could use our Perfect Blender sponge for this part as well, but I'm bringing it around the forehead. I kind of scoot it back and forth there. Doing the nose, again, that's done with a little more precision. And I always kind of just very softly use the tip for that area especially. Back and forth until it kind of goes to a very subtle look. Here I'm using our foundation brush. It's just a flat brush and it's clean. And then I'm going in with just very little of our loose powder in the shade Cream Puff. I'm not baking, I'm not going heavy powder underneath. I am 44 years old, so I don't want it to look cakey and make all those little fine lines stand out. But I am just kind of really pressing it into the skin. And then same thing. Here I'm using our Picture Perfect powder in the shade Almond Tart. I'm actually applying a darker shade because I am going to create another video after this using Gleam Body Radiance to kind of give myself a little bit of a self-tan, but it's not a self-tanner. It is a body makeup that's fantastic, and I don't want my face to look lighter than my body. Here I'm using Copper Tone Blush, which is just gorgeous. It gives you like a special gleam. And then I'm also going in with our medium contour underneath my cheekbones, both sides, and I kind of brush up into the blush so it looks a little more natural. I'm also going to go underneath the chin and along the jawline a little bit, just mimicking that contour that we'd already done there with the cream. And I just want to do that to intensify it a little bit. I'm also going to do the same thing around the forehead, just kind of working it into the hairline, and also on the tip of the nose. Here we go with brows. I'm using Morning Fog and my liner brow brush, kind of defining underneath the beginning of the brow, also at the top of the brow and along the arch, bringing it down. Okay, here's a super fun trick for y'all. If you want that bushy brow look and you don't have a brow gel, you can actually just spritz some hairspray. I prefer like an aerosol one onto just a spoolie. Here I go in with some mascara. I'm gonna apply lashes afterwards, so I wanna coat my lashes first. I'm just using CoverGirl Super Size Me lashes. These lashes are actually from a sweet friend from G4E Beauty, so check them out. And she's a woman-owned business out of Florida. Here I'm just trimming the edges. I actually prefer a black glue. I think this one is Ardell. That's usually, I use that or Duo. I think I had to pick up an Ardell one. Let it mostly dry, and then I apply it from the outer corner, going in, tips up, palms down, kind of put it on like a crown because we want it to kind of stick straight up. Hold it for 10 seconds and voila, they're both on. Magical. Here I'm using my fluff brush for a really soft effect, but I'm going in with Tiara, which is an eyeshadow, but it makes the most beautiful highlight. And I'm using that on my Cupid's bow. I'm going to also use that on both cheekbones, the tip of the nose, going up the bridge just a little bit. And you can see it's almost like a white gold. And the lighting here in the palette, it does look white, but it is like a white gold shade. We're gonna add a little bit to the tear duct. And then here I'm using my smudge brush with Macchiato eyeshadow that's in the Day to Night palette in the daytime lineup. Starting in the outer corner, I just smudge it back and forth, almost like a pencil eraser type motion. Last but not least, here we go with lips. So I'm using, for a very neutral look, I'm going in with Sand lip liner. I do like my lips to look a little bit fuller, so I'm overlining them. I first went into the Cupid's bow, did the bottom lip, and then I really start in the outer corners and bring it in so it looks like a little more natural when overlined. It doesn't give you that duck look. As you see here, I'm filling in kind of 1/3 of the outer part of the lip, and then I'm using stripped lipstick for a really pale nude. Kind of rub them together. Then I go back with my liner to really smudge it out so you don't see that outer liner. We're not going for the 1980s look. Just really fill that in, and it gives it kind of a gradient effect. And then I will go back with a little more lipstick so it really blends all of that out. Now here comes the super fun part. So this is Gleam by Melanie Mills Hollywood, and it is rose gold. It's actually called her Body Radiance. It's available at tpfcosmetics.com. That's our website. If you go under other brands we love, can you guys see that gleam? I love it. It's so beautiful, and it just gives you that awesome, gorgeous glow. Thank you guys so much for watching. You can find all of our products at tpfcosmetics.com and give us a follow.